Welcome back to the final segment of our series on Israel, a journey that ends in Tel Aviv, one of the country's youngest cities.
Tel Aviv is an infant compared to the other cities of Israel. The city was only established in 1909, but there's a section of the metropolitan city that's actually thousands of years older. It's this part, Jaffa.
Many don't realize Tel Aviv is both one of the youngest and oldest cities of Israel combined. Known officially as Tel Aviv-Yafo, the metropolitan area covers the ancient biblical city of Jaffa, one of the oldest settlements in the world. In its more than 3,000-year history, Jaffa was alternately settled and conquered by almost every great kingdom and empire that ruled the region, bringing with them their Jewish, Muslim, and Christian traditions, whose landmarks still stand in the old town. The Arab-Israeli War and the rise of Tel Aviv as an alternative place to live have reduced the number of the original inhabitants within the walled city. After a long period of decay, Old Jaffa is experiencing a renaissance today. Much of what you see was reconstructed since the 60s and now houses galleries and shops for upscale locals and tourists. Though Jaffa's ancient churches and mosques still attract the local faithful, the surrounding neighborhood now draws the young of Tel Aviv to its colorful street culture.
This is a young and fun neighborhood. I must say, it's great to be in a place with very little, if no reference whatsoever, to the Bible or to history. Let's explore.
This is where Jaffa's famous flea market is found, the perfect backdrop for the indie boutiques, third-wave cafes, and ethnic restaurants that have sprouted all over the place. The flea market is an old Jaffa institution. This is once where poor residents bought and sold their wares, though you're more likely to find hipsters scouring the markets for vintage find these days.
For Tel Aviv's millennials, vintage is cool. But remember, these things, the stuff over here, these are things from their grandparents and great-grandparents' time, the early wave of immigrants to Israel. You know what? These were probably the only prized possessions they had at that time. Today, it's just cool.
At sundown, the bars begin to open, and the market transforms into a street party. Though in Tel Aviv, the party is just starting, so there's no need to rush, except perhaps to find a perfect spot on Jaffa's beachfront to enjoy the glorious sunset. A typical night on the town starts with dinner, usually a quiet one, in order to conserve energy for the bar hopping that comes later. Tel Aviv's restaurant scene is currently one of the most talked about in foodie circles. Rich, young, liberal, and multinational, it's hard not to see why.
The name of this restaurant is Vicky Cristina, after the film Vicky Cristina Barcelona of Kuli Alma, who happens to be a Jew, by the way. So this is a Spanish restaurant. And you know Spanish food, jamon, gambas, stuff that's prohibited under kosher rules. But this is Tel Aviv. Anything goes.
The popular Vicky Cristina, in the courtyard of the city's old train station, is part of a new generation of restaurants that goes beyond traditional Jewish flavors and restrictions.
Right, this is the first set of tapas we're having, and over here we have some shrimp. Again, this is something you won't find in a kosher restaurant. Something you probably won't find in Jerusalem at all. This is shrimp. Remember the rule. If it's a sea creature without gills, you can't have it. But I can because I'm in Tel Aviv.
And not just shrimp, but pork and squid and other ingredients considered taboo.
Wow, this is really good. Don't get me wrong, I'm nothing against Jewish or Arabic food. In fact, I've really enjoyed the last few meals I've had here in Israel. But every now and then, you want something sinful, right? So let's sin tonight.
I was only referring to food, of course, but there's a lot of other irreverent things to enjoy in Tel Aviv at night. So I've booked a professional guide who's quite the expert in the local nightlife.
You must be Dror, right?
Yeah, David, nice to
hello.
meet you.
Okay, so I found you online.
Yes.
And that's how it works. That's how clients book you for a tour.
Yeah, let me show you the town.
Just so you know, weekends in Israel start on Thursday and end on Saturday. But Dror assures me that every day in Tel Aviv, even the Shabbat, the holy day of rest, is a good day to party.
The night starts at 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you can do something before that. Like usually we go to eat something at
I
8.
just had dinner. What's a typical night out on a Thursday night, for example? At least your style.
First, you have to eat something, and then after you eat, you go to a bar.
Okay,
and
check.
then,
I'm done with the eating.
yeah, so now we have to go to a bar, and then to a dance bar, and then to a nightclub.
What's the difference of a dance bar and a nightclub?
Let me show you.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Tel Aviv is a global tech capital, and Dror shows me how to book with Autotel, a car sharing app that's as cool as it's practical. Ride, park, and walk the rest of the way is how locals get to their first bar of the night.
This is the Kuli Alma, the place that we're going to. As I told you before, places don't last here for long. This one is over like 4 or 5 years, which is a lot.
The test of time.
Yeah, and this is the hipster's shrine. You have to come here if you're a hipster.
The hipster's shrine. Okay.
Kuli Alma is Aramaic for the whole world, and it does seem the whole world of young and beautiful locals are packed in this subterranean courtyard. The whole world can also mean a whole range of experiences or types of crowd to suit you. They have a dance floor, a long bar, even a vintage clothing store, and an art gallery with exhibitions that change weekly.
The artist.
Yes, I am the artist. Yeah. So I created this experience in order to disconnect you from outside and bring you into a new world, my world of spiritual and philosophical beliefs. And it's a real mind experience. Yeah.
Immersive experience.
It is immersive.
All right.
Exactly.
All right. So let's immerse
Let's
ourselves.
do it.
Kuli Alma provides young artists like Gal Vardy with instant exposure to like-minded people.
It's about how on one hand we're this endless energy and our potential is so everlasting, and on the other hand we're nostalgic creatures.
The raw energy in Kuli Alma is exhilarating, but at my age, a bit tiring.
This is the chilling area.
Okay, this is more age appropriate.
Yeah.
It's also the only quiet spot to plan our next move. We decide on Sputnik, a short walk away. A bar with an even more diverse crowd. That's code for someone a bit more mature like me. Having Dror as your guide gets you through the long queues and first-name basis with the owners of the bars in his itinerary.
Why'd you call it Sputnik?
The place.
Yeah.
Why we call the name? I don't have exactly
great
the
name,
reason.
though.
Yeah, but we like the vibe of the wood and spacey. Like do it together. So I don't know. Sputnik sounds good.
Of course it does, especially after a couple of glasses of this powerful stuff. It's a familiar formula I think the locals seem to love. A multi-level space where multiple experiences simultaneously take place. If you're bored in here, then why not move there? Or maybe slip back door and up the stairs to Sputnik's Boutique Hotel. Dror thinks it's impossible to experience Tel Aviv's nightlife without getting a glimpse of its famous gay scene.
Tel Aviv
Necessarily
is
like
the
that.
liberal, very liberal city. It's the gayest city in the Middle East, the biggest gay parade
Really?
ever. And you're going to see here what is really unique about Tel Aviv is that everybody lives together. You're going to see gay couple or the lesbian couple walking hands with hands.
People are tolerant.
Which brings us to Bordel Bar, popular with gays, along with everyone else, eager for a high-octane way to cap the evening. And before you know it, it's way past midnight, and the party in Tel Aviv is in full swing. It's a strange way to end a journey that began in places so holy. But maybe that's what Israel is all about. A land so many all over the world claim to know, from the Bible, from literature, or from the news, yet never truly comprehend. Indeed, perhaps only by visiting Israel can one understand this contradictory land, both ancient and modern, holy and profane, Arab and Jew.
And that's all for this series on Israel. I'm David Celdran. Thanks for watching. Shalom.